Welcome to the John Clarence Gomez Show, and here's your host, John Clarence Gomez.
Welcome to the John Clarence Gomez Show, Mr. Ben Cameron.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Here is the first question.
Okay.
Who is Ben Cameron? Can you tell our listeners about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm your Broadway buddy. I grew up loving musical theater my entire life in Orem, Utah, a very strange place to grow up. And I fell in love with theater at a very young age, and I was in a show all the time in community theater. And I moved to New York when I was 18, and I went on to be fortunate enough to be in some very cool Broadway shows like Wicked and Footloose and Aida. And then since I kind of decided to end my chorus boy days, I have now kind of taken it upon myself to bring the Broadway community to people all over the world with my web series and my podcast and my live shows, Broadway Sessions. And I really like bringing people together to celebrate their love of theater and making everybody feel really great about that. That's always what I have been most passionate about.
How do you begin your career as theater actor in Broadway?
Well, I moved when I was 18 years old, so I was very, very young, and I was going to a school called AMDA, the American Musical Dramatic Academy, and I was being very naughty. You're not supposed to audition for shows while you're attending that school, and I did on the sly. I was very, very naughty, and I ended up booking some shows, and I dropped out of school, which I'm not recommending to people, but I did. I dropped out of school and was able to just continue working. I think my first show that I did was a touring production of The Who's Tommy, which remains one of my favorite musicals of all time to this day.
What is the first musical that you have performed in Broadway?
My first Broadway show was Footloose in 1998. So I was still very, very young. And I think I was 19 years old when I got the call that I was going to be able to do Footloose. And I was so excited. I remember jumping up and down on the bed and clapping and squealing and screaming, much to the chagrin of my poor roommate, who I was on tour with at the time, who did not enjoy that display of enthusiasm. But it was Footloose, and I was a swing, which meant that I covered all of the ensemble tracks. And I think it's really wonderful that swings are getting kind of their due, since we've all kind of navigated how Broadway and theater in general can stay open through the pandemic. Swings have really saved the day. So I was a swing at first, but I left the show 2 months into the run because the national tour was going out, and I went to do the national tour. And then I came back around after the national tour for about 9-10 months. I came back and I was able to be in the closing company of the show on Broadway again. So it was a nice full circle moment with Footloose.
What is Broadway Sessions? When it was started?
Yes, Broadway Sessions is kind of my baby. Broadway Sessions was kind of the first of the projects that I took on that gave me a life outside of just performing on a Broadway stage. What I knew when I came back from my last tour, I left Wicked to go on tour with the national touring production of Sweet Charity, and I had a great time and I had a great role in the show. When I got back to New York, I was feeling really artistically inspired and charged up and ready to make some art. And I had to think, well, what are the things that I like? What are the things that I like to do that are that other people like as well? Hey, I just want to ask, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
You can?
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure that my mute isn't wrong. How about now?
Yes, I hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. All right, great. Anyway, so I decided that what I loved more than anything was my friends who were in the Broadway community. They were all such wild and wacky, wonderful people. And so I kind of came up with this idea to bring them together at a bar, because I know that Broadway people love to hang out at the bar. So we got together at this tiny little bar on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And I think my first guest was Titus Burgess way back in the day. And it was an opportunity to shine the spotlight on Broadway performers as people, as talents, world-class talents, far beyond what they're able to do in their Broadway shows night to night, which is always incredible to me. They're the most amazing people in the world. And so Broadway Sessions is a celebration of the Broadway community and a really great way for audience members to get to see beyond what happens in the show that you've just seen on Broadway and really get to know the people that make it happen.
How many Broadway actors and theater actors that have been performed in Broadway sessions?
Oh my gosh, thousands, so many. There are so many. We have a great YouTube channel that has video performances. I love a lot of our performances, but that doesn't even date back to our beginning. So there have been an awful lot. A lot of people have been on the Broadway session stage. And not only Broadway performers, but also we've had our performers that joined us as part of our Rising Star series, which means they're talented performers who haven't performed on Broadway yet, who then go on to be Broadway stars and do these really big shows. And that's always very exciting to see them grow and develop as well. So it's kind of the most inspiring event you can do in New York City is go to the Broadway sessions at the Green Room 42.
Who is the best Broadway actor or actress that you have been worked with?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. Who is the best? Everyone's so different. Gosh, I don't know. I remember I started working with Christian Borle on the Footloose National Tour way back. He was Willard on the tour, and I was in the ensemble. And I remember watching him and going, "Oh my gosh, there is nothing this guy can't do. He is absolutely amazing. He would never do the same show twice." But I remember just being in awe of him. So I think he was really talented. Heather Headley in Aida was just a masterclass to get to watch her work every day. Idina Menzel, Kristen Chenoweth, all just really incredible people.
What is the Broadway Cast? Can you tell our listeners about your podcast, the Broadway Cast?
Yes, the Broadway Cast is my podcast that we initially launched many years ago with Playbill, and we lasted with them for 20 to 30 episodes. I forget how many. And then we started to work with iHeartRadio Broadway, but then, of course, the pandemic hit. So that put a little bit of a wrench in the machinery. But we're now with iHeartRadio Broadway. We're the #1 podcast on the iHeartRadio Broadway network. And what we do that's so very unique is that round table discussions with 3 different Broadway luminaries, whether they be actors, musicians, choreographers, composers. We bring them together, people who, because of their show schedules, never really get a chance to talk to each other about what it is to make Broadway happen. And they get to have that. We play games with them. We get the stories that you're not going to hear anywhere else. It's really very special.
Wow.
We've got some really exciting stuff coming up as well. But it's been such a blessing to be back with iHeartRadio Broadway. So please subscribe and listen.
How many episodes that your podcast have at this time? And what's the latest episode that are making?
Yes, I think we have, we did 25 episodes the first round. Now we're getting up there. I think we maybe have 17 or 18 episodes out of the new season. But I know that we recently worked with, we just released an episode all about the collaborative process with Matt Sklar, who wrote The Prom, and Kelly Devine, who choreographed Rock of Ages, and Orfeh, who of course is a Tony-nominated actress, and got to really find out how their worlds intersected. That was very cool. Coming up though, I just had a great conversation with 3 gentlemen who have played the Phantom of the Opera. To get into what that's all about, we're going to do an episode with Elphabuzz. We're going to do a 10-year Newsies anniversary episode coming up. And it comes out every week on Tuesdays. So we always have something great. And I encourage people to go back and listen to our past episodes as well. It's all really fun.
Here is the very fun questions.
Okay.
That I will ask. What
All
is
right.
your favorite Broadway musicals and songs?
Oh, it's so hard to choose. You're right. These are very tough questions to answer. I always go back to if I had to choose a couple, I can't choose just one, but I love Rent more
Yes.
than I can say. I love Rent and I love Miss Saigon.
Yes.
Miss Saigon is one that I'm very, very passionate about. I love it, love it, love it. Wicked, of course, has a very special place in my heart because I was involved with it for so very long. And to be in the original cast of Wicked has been something so special. Um, I also really love the Who's Tommy, which I was lucky enough to do early on in my career. So yeah.
On let's talk about on Miss Saigon. I really like Miss Saigon because I'm a
Good.
Philippine. I'm from the Philippines, and there is a Filipino cast in Miss Saigon is Lea Salonga and the Filipino American Eva Noblesada.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Eva's a friend of mine. I love her very much, and she's been on the Broadway cast a couple of times. She was on our first episode back with iHeartRadio Broadway. She's such an incredible talent.
What is your favorite Broadway stars? Because for me, when it comes to Broadway, my favorite is Lea Salonga, and I
Yeah.
also like the the Broadway deconstruction guy on I see on YouTube. He is Seth Rodetsky. I really love him.
You love Seth Rudetsky?
Yes, I love
Oh,
him.
come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. What's not to love? He's so great.
Yes.
Um, my favorite Broadway stars. Oh my gosh, how do I even pick? Um, well, I agree with you on Lea Salonga. I think she can do no wrong. She is the best of the best. I was obsessed as a kid always with Terrence Mann, um, who has been in more original Broadway companies than just about any actor. I think he maybe holds the distinction for that. But he was the original Rum Tum Tugger and Cats and the original Javert. So go figure. I love him very much. I love Donna Murphy an awful lot, and I'm obsessed with Bernadette Peters.
What is your favorite off-Broadway musical? Off-Broadway.
Off Broadway, I just saw Titanic. Uh, that's playing here now. It's going to play through November in New York. I'm working on getting some of the cast to come in and do Broadway sessions on September 22nd. But it is so funny. I felt like it was written for me. It is so bonkers and kooky and crazy, and I just loved it so much. So that's if you're in New York, go see Titanic before they close shop in November.
We have no time, and this is the last question.
Okay.
Can you promote Broadway sessions and your podcast, the Broadway Cast, to our listeners and encourage them to go and visit to see Broadway sessions in New York and encourage
Yes.
them to listen to your podcast?
Absolutely.
Can you
Broadway Sessions returns on September 8th. We're at our new venue, the Green Room 42, right on 42nd Street. You can go to the greenroom42.venutix, VENUE Tix, TIX, .com to buy tickets for any of our fall shows. We have 2 shows a month on Thursday nights after Broadway curtains come down. We have the cast of MJ the Musical coming up this week, which is very exciting. Then, of course, hopefully the cast of Titanic and onward and onward. So you can also follow us on social media at Broadway Sessions to make sure you keep up with what's happening and who's coming. Sometimes we do open mic at Broadway Sessions, so you want to keep your eyes open for that as well. I'm also very excited about the fact that Broadway Sessions is cheaper than ever at our new venue, which is very exciting. The Broadway Cast episode's dropping on Tuesday. All you got to do, you can follow us on social media at the Broadway Cast. And you can follow me at Ben Does Broadway. You'll get all of that information as well. But make sure that you subscribe and listen and let your friends know that you're enjoying the show. And you can support us on Patreon as well, which we would love. And also, I just shot a new episode of my web series, Dance Captain Dance Attack, with BroadwayWorld.com. So you can look for that coming out here pretty soon. So the hits keep on coming. So if you follow me at Ben Does Broadway, you can make sure to keep up on all of that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for guesting to my podcast, and it's now time to say goodbye. Bye.
All righty. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The end. Thanks for listening to the John Clarence Gomez Show.